Hi, welcome to Truth to Tal and Isaac. I'm Tal.
I'm Isaac.
Episode number 94 coming at you today. Big 94. We're talking about the Super Bowl, some NFL offseason stuff, just touch on the NBA All-Star Game a little bit, and have a great episode for you fans.
Have a great episode, fans.
Thanks, fans. Best 94 of all time, DeMarcus Ware, Niners, Cowboys, 5-time Pro Bowl, 5-time Super Bowl champ.
Is there not a better one?
No. Okay. Charles Haley, but he spent too much time with the Cowboys.
Okay. All right, fine. Okay, what else do you have? Off the top, go ahead.
Off the top stuff. So the serial draft, I think it's very important. Got lots of good fan feedback about the serial draft. The mix is super duper important. We mix a lot.
Okay, context to those that don't remember.
So serial draft, Isaac and I did a snake draft for favorite cereals, Honey Nut Cheerios. I went through kind of like more of a Hall of Fame all-star team. Isaac went for a lot of like young, high sugar that probably were good on offense but not very good on defense, and selfish players. Anyway, we did a cereal draft. Honey Nut Cheerios, far and away the winner. Mini Wheats, also a very good pick. Isaac picked that. Honey Nut Cheerios and Mini Wheats are great mix cereals. So you put them as a base, then you can throw something else as a second layer, and depending on your likes, if you get a little bit of Chex you want to mix in on top, third layers. So if you haven't done the cereal mix, 2 or 3 flavors, super important, super fun.
Okay, that's plenty of cereal coverage. We did about 20 minutes on cereal last episode. So what else do you have off the top?
Okay, Ryan Ritt, who's a fan of the show from Chicago, he gets big props because for like 2 years, he's been calling that the Bears are moving. Right now, it's difficult for him to get from his home to downtown Chicago, partly because it's distance, but partly because there's a fair amount of guns in Chicago.
Okay.
So
where is this going?
Ryan Ritt gets full credit for giving us the inside scoop. The Bears bought that land in the suburbs. They're moving there.
This is unbelievably obscure and nobody cares.
Sure it is. And
I don't know why I didn't delete this.
they want to get a dome. And what's the quarterback's name?
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is a baby. He's like, I want to play in a dome.
Okay, this is the only relevant part of the past 2 minutes of what you just said.
Proof that the Lions are going to be smashing everybody in the NFC North.
Okay.
Smashing.
Fine. That's it. We're talking about that later.
Okay.
I'm just going to cut you off here.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Hawks fire Ned McMillan.
No, I'm cutting you off.
No, not completely.
Nate McMillan's a bum. Spoelstra
Trey Young is a
him.
bum. Nate McMillan is good.
Okay, no. He got swept by the bubble heat a couple years ago, and it just was clear like he had no idea what he was doing, and Spo just outclassed him. And then, he got fired again. The Hawks suck. People aren't talking about them enough. I think they're 29-30, and they have zero future because they're all in the next couple of years.
Yeah, they traded away a bunch of guys, and like... what's the Young is their...
Well, Trae Young and DeJounte Murray.
DeJounte Murray, you love, and he's good.
I liked him in San Antonio.
What's the deal now? They can't seem to figure it out?
Well, you got 2 point guards, 2 like 10 assists a game guys, and you just throw them next to each other. It's not that easy to make it work, especially when you have an incompetent coach. And then like John Collins, who's always in trade rumors, and Clint Capella, who's also always in trade rumors, and Bogdanovich, who's also always in trade rumors.
Yep.
They're a mess in Atlanta. Atlanta's a mess.
Dumb award of the week, I'm going to give to the LA Clippers for signing Westbrook.
Hilarious.
Who thought that was a good idea?
It was bad.
Do we want to predict now how terribly it's going to go, or do we just wait and let it happen?
Well, everybody with a brain knows. Other than the people like, oh, it's a bargain. Watch out for the Clippers. Watch. We just saw this with John Wall. How different is Westbrook than Wall? He's a
little more athletic.
Playmaker.
He's a little more selfish. He throws up more bricks, and he is probably the worst screener in NBA history.
Actually, that's good. That's a good take. The John Wall Westbrook
stats. Did you hear the stats?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I don't care about Westbrook going to Clippers. It's stupid. I kind of expected him to just...
I don't care. I thought I just needed to give them a dumb award.
Yeah, it's just poor because I kind of like watching the Clippers play basketball when they're healthy, and then this will make me like them less. But he's not going to close games, so I don't understand even why they did that.
No idea.
Do you have anything else? Hopefully you're done.
No, I have made my off-the-top short and sweet.
It was terrible. It was 4 minutes of nothing, respectfully.
It was good.
UFC 284. We had a great card. We won't talk about much. I put a thing up on the Instagram, which you should follow. What's the Instagram? Plug it.
The Truth with T and I.
Yeah, nice. I put a poll up. And
by the way, we're available on all platforms. YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple.
Google Podcast. Google Play
Podcast
is like where you buy like movies.
Yeah, no, not there.
So UFC.
Well, soon.
Yeah. UFC 284. I put a poll up and said, am I allowed to talk about it? And I think it was like 20-3 in favor of I should be able to talk about it. And one of the 3 was him. So it's extremely fraudulent. So it's unanimous.
So probably about 85%. Who are the other 2 people on my team?
I don't remember, but they're going on Fraud Watch. Okay, so UFC, even if you're not into it, you have the number 1 pound for pound fighter on the planet, fighting the number 2 pound for pound fighter on the planet. Number 2 was favored. He ended up winning. Very controversial. I actually agree with the decision. A lot of people think the underdog should have won. And it was so close of a fight that the guy who was number 2 in the rankings stayed at number 2, even though he beat the number 1 guy. Number 1 guy's still at 1.
Wow.
So it was that good of a fight.
That's cool.
It was one of the best fights I've ever seen. It was super awesome. You've got some good storylines, right? Like John Bones Jones, maybe the best UFC fighter ever. Bad dude, but maybe the best fighter ever, is coming back like next month to fight. You've got Conor McGregor coming back at the end of summer.
He is?
He's coming back end of summer to fight Chandler. He's a win away from a title shot. Like, UFC's in such great shape right now. Not too late to be a fan. I got on it late, like in COVID. We're taking more applicants, okay? So that's my UFC bit.
Yeah, does it have to be shown so late?
Well, sometimes they do in Abu Dhabi, so it's at like 2 p.m. and you can watch.
Those are good.
But often it's like, 1 a.m., the main fight's starting.
One time I slept like an hour and a half from like 9 to 10:30 and I stayed up and watched it.
Well,
with you guys.
Well, yeah, like there was football on it. It was like wild card. Like I think it was the Packers-Niners game when the Niners won like 13-10, I think.
Yeah.
And
so
UFC was on.
Of that. Yeah.
And I had buddies over, and he left, and then just like as soon as the field goal was missed by Green Bay, and UFC was like in its prime, he just like emerged and was there next to us and watched with us. So that story. Last thing here, I watched Ant-Man with some buddies. It's not very good.
Oh,
no,
really?
It's okay. It's not terrible.
Because we've been watching a little bit. Well, Isaac, what he does is he watches the movies, and I kind of jump in and watch a little bit. And like Ant-Man, I always liked 1. I don't think I liked 2 as much.
2's
pretty good.
I like 2.
Yeah.
It's for sure the worst of the 3. But
3 is worst of the 3?
Yeah. Yes, it's for sure worst of the 3. The one I just saw. It's not awful. Like it's got some good things.
Were you entertained?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what movies are supposed to do.
I wrote down meh. Not meh. Last of Us. Best TV show on the planet right now. On HBO or Crave or whatever.
Yeah. Isaac made me watch those, and they're good shows. So Last of Us.
It's just one show.
Well, episodes. We should probably get the dude, Mandalorian, on the pod.
Sure. If you are looking for a TV show, Last of Us, it's on Crave. It's really good.
It's a little like zombie-ish with like a more of a science
But it's real. It's not fake like Walking Dead.
Correct.
It's real. Sorry, Walking Dead. So overrated.
Like bacterial in nature.
Yeah.
Fungus.
Now, Super Bowl recap. Go ahead, Tal.
Okay, so we got a good game. We got an entertaining game, which is the whole point. Again, there are 2 teams that most people wanted to see. Neither of them are from huge media markets. Philly's a decent media market. So
I'd say Philly's a big media market.
Yeah, but I like no New York, no LA. That always makes me happy. No Dallas, no Chicago.
Well, the Rams don't even have fans. So
the Rams don't have fans. It's unbelievable how bad. Like I think we could be the number 1 fan in most cities, but we could be the number 1 and the number 2 fan in Los Angeles. And the distance between 2 and 3 is about 700,000 people.
I think Rob Lowe goes to some Rams games. He might be the 3 seed for Rams fans.
Yep, true. So we did get a good game. The penalty sucked a little bit at the end, but there was way too much attention related to that penalty. Don't put yourself in that position where you can lose on 1 holding penalty. Maybe stop the Kansas City offense at some point in the second half. That would be helpful.
It would be helpful. It was a great game. Like you said, this was a great game. Last year we had a good game, but I kind of said after, like, I don't know, something felt missing. I don't know what it was, but I just said something was missing from that game. I didn't feel that this year. I thought it was fantastic. It was a great game. We're going to talk about our viewing experience later on. The flag, really quickly, it was brutal. It's brutal timing. Here's what I wrote down. That's going to get called 5 out of 10 times.
But yeah, probably.
But it's going to get called 9 out of 10 times when it's the Chiefs / the Super Bowl / that situation of a game. So it's kind of a perfect storm. It's the Chiefs in the Super Bowl at that point. It's going to get called.
Your conspiracy theory take is the NFL wants Patrick Mahomes to win.
That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying. I was saying the Chiefs, like any prolific offense, are going to maybe get a couple more calls.
Yep.
Like we saw the Packers get in their prime. We saw the Hawks get a little bit. You know, Tom Brady got a couple calls in his time, I heard. So that's kind of what I was saying there.
Fair enough.
You're seeing Twitter screenshots either way of how was this a penalty / how was this not a penalty. In this case, it was the Eagles fans complaining.
So full disclosure, I picked Philly to win because I thought their defensive line, they weren't going to be as dominant as Tampa's defensive line was against KC a couple years ago, but I thought they'd do something. They were invisible. Like Son Reddick, who was a beast, and like, sorry, Amadeo, I know you're number one fan of Hassan Reddick. He was invisible. I was very, very surprised at that. Now, a fair amount of credit, and we'll talk about Andy Reid afterwards, should go to the KC coaching staff, but make a play.
Chiefs allowed 0 sacks. 0.
Yes.
I think in the... We kind of said, we both picked Philly to win. I had Chiefs covering plus 1.5, so if you bet on that, respect. But I said, if Philly wants to win this game, they got to get after Mahomes. That's how Tampa won. That's the only way you can stop Mahomes. And they didn't. They didn't get after Mahomes, especially in the second half, which was just like...
When he was limping, he was limited in the second half. Like,
okay.
We both said, when we saw him with the sprained ankle, we're like, okay, game's done. They were down 10 at that point with a limited Mahomes. We... in about 0.75 seconds said, okay, game's done. It's over.
Yeah, so the Mahomes ankle storyline, that's out of a movie. I'll give you some examples. You can tell me what you're rocking with more, but it's out of a movie, okay? Avengers Endgame, Captain America, fighting the army by himself, and he's got his arm is like cut.
Yep.
And he like tightens his shield.
His shield is busted up too.
And he I don't really know what he does, but he like tightens the shield so it's like stops bleeding. That could be an example. Another one could be Mason Dixon in Rocky 6.
Yeah.
Breaking his hand, and it's going to numb up. I did some reading.
Then he's going to be able to hit him hard.
Yeah,
in
I did
a couple
some reading.
Rounds.
Mahomes was watching 1970 Game 7 NBA Finals tape on YouTube.
Willis Reed.
That's
a good take.
There's a legit article.
Very good take.
On Sports Illustrated that was like, Mahomes was watching Willis Reed tape.
Come on, really?
Seriously, yeah, on SI. I thought it was really
that's
cool.
Awesome.
So,
you still get SI.
Yeah, but I read this one online, respectfully.
Shout out Auntie Steph and Uncle Phil.
Yep, so... the Mahomes thing, super entertaining. Just to be like, oh my God, like he's gonna die. Look, he's hurt. And then like we come back from commercial and it's like, okay, like Mahomes isn't getting treatment. And then we were saying at the time, he's gonna get like easily an hour to just inject stuff
it's gonna numb up
and get treatment.
Yep.
Because of the halftime show. So that really helped.
Helped. That was maybe the only positive thing about the halftime show.
We'll talk about it a little later. Do you have anything else? I got a couple more points to the game.
I do. Field conditions we need to talk about a little bit. Yes, they were bad. And the offense has the advantage in those types of shaky circumstances because they know when they're going to plant foot and cut or when they're just going to do a fake. So both offenses did better than we thought. KC's did better because they had better play calls and just overall executed better. A couple things about some individual players. Pacheco. Wow.
Isaiah Pacheco. We're going to talk about him later, though.
Okay. So I think you have to get... inevitably, the quarterback from the winning team wins the MVP. But Hurts was more valuable to that game.
It's an interesting take. It's really tough. The whole MVP thing of a regular season, let alone of a finals or a Super Bowl, is extremely difficult because it's subjective.
Subjective, correct.
How do you define valuable?
It's like the Russian judge picked Pacheco as the MVP.
Yeah, I don't really get that, but that's fine. It's just, how do you define MVP? Obviously, the quarterback on the best team. Like I wrote down Nick Bolton here. Nick Bolton was very close to 2 touchdowns.
Extremely.
If he got 2 touchdowns, he probably wins Finals MVP.
Yep.
Or a Super Bowl MVP.
There was a Raiders DB about 20 years ago that had 2 interception returns for a touchdown, and he got the MVP. Got a big contract and was poop after that.
Well, like I'm trying to think. Like there's not a ton of non-quarterback MVPs, let alone of any player on a losing team. Like Hurts, you're saying. If you're saying Hurts deserved to win it.
Oh, listen, I knew that Mahomes was going to win, but I think Hurts was the more valuable player in that game.
I wrote down, Hurts played fantastic. Like you can't get out of this game saying, see, the running quarterback thing doesn't work. He played great.
I never thought that we would say 4th and 1 is boring.
Okay, are we going to talk about the Hurts sneak thing now?
Yeah, I think we probably should.
Okay, go ahead.
So 4th and 1 for a long time, as long as I can remember, was a super exciting play. Like old school John Riggins 4th and 1 in the Super Bowl. Like there's just so many good 4th and 1 plays. Stops, a lot of them. Now Philly has a good offensive line. They've got a tough quarterback, and the whole bum pushing thing makes 4th and 1 like a 90% plus kind of execution rate. Now the NFL has also decided that they don't want 4th and 1 to be boring, so they're probably going to take away the butt push rule.
Okay, so the butt push rule, tush push, whatever you want to call it. I initially wrote down before, like I wrote this down a couple days after the Super Bowl. I wrote some notes down. I said over under 2.5 seasons until the Hurts sneak thing is removed. That was before there was any buzz about removing it.
2.5 seasons, about 2.5 days.
The number has now been bet down. The public line is 0.5 seasons. So the question is, in this offseason, Do you expect that rule to get changed?
Yes.
You think this offseason?
Yes.
You don't even think they play it out next year?
No.
Wow, that's really fast.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay, interesting. That I don't know where that.
I mean, I wouldn't like if it's even money. I'm gonna say
it's even money. That's how
even
odds
money.
work. Yeah.
I'm gonna put $10 down on it changing in this offseason. But if the option is okay, if I could take 0.5 and 1 with huge odds against it, like for sure it'll be done by next offseason.
100%.
There's no way it gets to 1.5.
Yeah, I agree. We talk about Hurts here. He like 374 total yards. All 4 of their touchdowns he counted for. Most rushing yards by a quarterback in a soupy. He didn't even have a ton. I just wonder, like, what if one of these, like, what if Lamar ever gets to Super Bowl? He's going to run for 130 yards.
Yes.
And then that record is just going to get broken in 6 more years by another rushing guy. I just thought that was funny. The first half, this is crazy. I looked this up. I didn't believe it. Time of possession in the first half. So it was 24-14 Eagles at half. Eagles time of possession.
I don't know, but I'm going to guess they had it for 21.5 minutes.
Dude, did you read my notes, bro?
No.
Okay, it's 21-54.
Woo! Big guy!
What was the Chiefs' time of possession?
Well, 30 minus 21.54 is 8 minutes and 6 seconds.
You're right. That's exactly what I wrote down. Good job. Wow. So he knew those numbers. That's really good.
I don't have my phone here because I'm not allowed to have my phone during the podcast. So I was able to calculate that big number in my head.
Yeah, that's actually respect for the mental math there. Like, that's pretty good. The Chiefs, let's talk about the Chiefs' strategy real briefly. You can talk about Andy Reid. The Chiefs went all in on cheaper receivers, investing in your O-line, investing in your defense, and drafting very well. Mm-hmm. And the amount of young guys.
That's 2 teams that had the best drafts, right? KC, actually 3. KC, Seattle had a really good draft, and the Lions.
I would need to look at draft boards and
haven't you ever seen the redraft?
Yeah,
CBS does a redraft.
Yeah, the redraft is
4 Lions were picked in the first round in the redraft.
Who? Can we go?
Hutch was still picked second.
Yeah, he should have been first.
Malcolm Rodriguez was picked somewhere in the teens.
J-Mo?
Not yet. Joseph was picked 21 or 22.
And then J-Mo.
J-Mo was picked 30 or 31.
Wow, okay, that's cool. Good job.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, the Chiefs...
I didn't write that down. It's all from memory.
Okay, Patrick Mahomes, how many incompletions did he have in the second half, do you think?
Ooh, boy. 3.
He had 1, and it was on a throwaway.
Oh, my gosh. That's crazy.
Just lights out in the second half. Every play, somebody was open. Literally, except one.
It was amazing. Oh, the touchdowns were all wide open. Hey, I'm going to fake inside and go outside and be wide open. Let's run the same play again. Different dudes. Be wide open again.
Do you have any more on the superhero? You've got a couple
I've got
things.
about 3 or 4 points. So Andy Reid, he did call an amazing game.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Eric Bieniemy because he keeps getting passed over for head coaching gigs. So he's going to Washington, which has a similar offense to Northwestern University in terms of skill level. So he is shelving being the offensive coordinator for an elite offense to go run the plays in Washington because he actually gets to call the plays. But Andy Reid looks like a genius. Big Red is now second all-time in playoff wins, which I was kind of impressed. The second half, they just could not be stopped.
The Bieniemy thing is a whole different conversation. Talk about some bad stuff in the NFL.
Yeah, bad stuff.
And then he talk about something I'm confused. I'm actually... Was that his best option to go to Washington?
I don't pay that much attention to where I don't even pay attention to where head coaches go. But I would assume, he's a marketable guy.
And then did you see what LeSean McCoy said?
Like him. No.
So LeSean McCoy bashed him and said, I hated playing for him. And it's not...
LeSean McCoy?
LeSean McCoy.
Oh, he was punk, right?
Yeah, and then you had a bunch of other players no, man, this isn't it. He's actually an awesome guy, and I love working under him. So... I don't know. It's extremely goofy.
Well, they didn't play LeSean McCoy because by the time, he was no good in KC.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's his beef. I don't know. It's just really goofy.
I'm sorry, but Antonio Brown probably complained about some of his coaches in the last 3 stops.
We're not talking about AB. No AB talk. So I have nothing more on the actual game itself. The game that we watched, that was a great game. I have no more takes there. Do you have any more?
No. Thanks, Philly. Thanks, KC, for a good Super Bowl.
Thanks, guys. Okay, non-game stuff. We'll only spend a couple minutes on this.
Okay.
So commercials. Tal, go ahead on the commercials.
A couple of pretty good commercials. The Canadian one was pretty solid. I enjoyed that. The Doritos ones, those were pretty good too.
Yeah, okay.
Those are about the only ones that really stuck with me.
So I didn't really care at all. I'm surprised we talked about it for 20 seconds. I thought it'd be a little less. Just want to say movie studios that do a 15-second, hey, this movie's coming out, go on YouTube and watch the whole trailer. That sucks. It works. It sucks me in, Guardians, Indie, Flash. They all did it, and he had
Yeah,
some really good trailers.
I don't really go on YouTube much, but Isaac sends me the stuff that I should go on YouTube. So he's a good filter. He's a good search engine.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Chat GPT, but it's Isaac. Those are good, like YouTube 2.5 minutes, and they get you into it.
He had some really good trailers. He had some really good movie trailers that came out.
Good commercial talk.
Halftime show talk now. This is good. This is why the fans are here. Halftime show thoughts. Those are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Do you remember what I did during halftime?
I think you played cards.
Nope. Well, that was before the game. It's pre-game cards. We're talking about where we were watching the game. We were like, hey, like it's a nice day. I don't want to watch this. It's going to be an hour. Oh, I live like a couple minutes away.
That's right.
Let's go get my football. So we just drove to my house, got the football, and then played catch in the street for like 40 minutes.
Yep.
And it's a great way to spend halftime. And we came back in as soon as it was excellent. The Rihanna, it's fine. I actually like some of Rihanna's rap.
So do I.
No, name one Rihanna song.
Monster.
It's fine. I'll give you that.
Yes! Team Tal Nation for the W.
That's an Eminem song that she's featured on.
I know. It's the only one I could come up with.
But it's fine. I watched 0 seconds of the Rihanna thing. There was some memes going around. I saw some memes. But I kind of gave it the Pro Bowl treatment, which means I didn't watch it, is what the Pro Bowl treatment is.
Fair enough.
And there's no guests, which I don't love, but whatever. Just bring out someone cool.
We need to give proper kudos to the team Mancina.
Okay, viewing experience. Go ahead, talk about our viewing experience.
So the problem with the Super Bowl is people have like huge parties and then you can't enjoy the game. Youngblood was going to Mancina's, and I like Frank Mancina. I like the boys. I like the family, and I like Isaac's buddies. So Isaac said, "Come over there." So I went and watched. So Frank and I were the only two grown-ups. So we had the two good chairs. A lot of young guys, cool, into the game, fun banter back and forth. Shout out to Frank Mancina.
Yeah, so shout out the whole family for having us
the
over.
whole family.
There's some great food, some great fried chicken that can't be loved. That's a delicacy for Dom. He loved the fried chicken.
Fried chicken's good.
This was a highly efficient performance by the Mancina family. I'll tell you why. So it's a great group of people, but the people that didn't care about every single play, they could go kind of meander towards where cards were set up, where the fried chicken and the pizza was, and you could talk there at a rate that's not going to affect the viewers. And then you got the viewers.
No, the chatter talk did not affect the viewers.
And it's perfect because you got to kind of have two. You have to have a home and away. You have to have an away area where people can go to talk and whatever. And then you've got your locked in.
And nobody crazy about commercials, so we can actually talk about the game during commercials and not people losing their crap because they didn't get to watch the Pepsi commercial or Ford or whatever.
Because we didn't watch much. Like there was
really
lots of football discussion.
It took me several days before I went back and found a YouTube and watched commercials.
So just great. That's how to do a soupy party 101, right? Everyone there is at least a mild sports fan. You got to understand when you can talk, when you can't talk, what's going on a little bit. And
Mancinas are good for a lot of things. Super Bowl hosting, wrestling, soccer.
Just soccer. They're
things.
good at soccer. Yeah.
Yep.
You got to have a spot where people can go to mingle away, and that's what it was just so well executed. Like a 10 out of 10 performance from the Mancina family.
True.
Great viewing experience. Doing it again next year, hopefully. That's all I got here.
The fun betting was actually entertaining as well.
I didn't even write down. It was a very profitable day on Super Bowl Sunday, which I think is pretty rare.
Yep.
Last year it was not. This year it was. We won't go into detail about the bets, but it was just like very smart, right? Kenneth Gainwell was feeling Gainwell. It worked out. Was feeling a Hurts touchdown. It worked. Kelsey touchdown worked. I bet on Pacheco. That never misses, right? So we're happy with our betting. Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Now we can go in on the NFL offseason. Go ahead, Tal.
Yeah. Now, so we each have a list of 8 items, kind of off-season questions, comments. The NFL, for good or bad, for better or for worse, is a heavy quarterback league. So a lot of my items are tied to quarterbacks. My first one is not, though. Question is, can Philly keep their core together? They got to pay some guys. Most of their D-line will likely leave. Comments?
So you got to pay Hurts. Because Hurts...
Absolutely have to pay Hurts.
So Hurts was a second-round
pick. He's going to be $40 million a year.
So maybe more. It's the numbers going up. There's no fifth-year option on Hurts, so you got to pay him a little early, right? That's the way it works out.
If you're not a first-round pick, that's right.
Yep. And then they lost both their coordinators. Eagles lost their OC and their DC 2 days after the Soupy, which I actually don't. That's not a great look, but that's just kind of me. You've got a lot of free agents, right? You've got a bunch of DBs are free agents, which is one of the strengths of their team.
Slay, one more year, I think.
Slay's not a free agent. Bradbury is, Gardner Johnson is, and the safety Marcus Epps is. So they've got some guys.
Actually, Gardner Johnson is the guy who made the only play on the Philadelphia defense.
He's really good.
Yeah,
he's really good. They traded for him for next to nothing. He's been great.
It's like a tank. Wow.
There's some big hitting. Yeah, there was some big hitting in Soupy. What did the Eagles do? I don't know. You got to pay your guys. You got to pay Hurts. You got to do what you can.
They're going to do one more run. They're going to try and run it back with what they can. They're going to go way over the cap and do some magic.
I'm not a Miles Sanders guy, so I don't know when his contract's up, but don't pay him.
Oh, no, you don't pay. If you're Philly, you do not pay for running backs. You have 2 good wide receivers. You're going to pay Hurts a lot. You're going to have an offensive line that you're going to have to pay some cash to.
And an aging offensive line. Especially,
and an aging offensive line.
I know
yeah,
everyone
Lane
loves
Johnson,
Jason Kelsey and stuff, but
yeah.
he's getting older.
Yep.
So that's what I got on my Eagles there. Anything else?
No.
For Eagles? Okay. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. Let's just start with this one. So I kind of see 2 sides. They are not agreeing on their contract. That's a fact. We know this. The Ravens are saying, look, you're pretty injury prone. You're going to be a lot of money, and we already have a run-heavy team. That's kind of what the Ravens are saying. That's why they don't want to pay him. Lamar's saying, I have an MVP on my mantle. Deshaun Watson just got $250 million guaranteed. Remember, it was fully guaranteed. That's why this is so important. And Lamar's saying, I run this offense. I orchestrate this offense. The whole scheme is because I'm here, right? The all triple option or PO. I think the Ravens tag him because you kind of have to tag him.
Yep.
And then it's, can they work something out in the meantime? Or is he just going to demand a trade? What do you think happens?
I think he's going to demand a trade.
I don't think he will.
He has not been respected nearly as much as he should have been. I think he's tired of it, and I'm assuming his agents are saying he's tired of it.
No, let me jump in here. He is agentless, which is very crucial to this, which a lot of people don't know. Lamar does not have an agent. This is all him right now, which I don't love.
Very interesting.
Because it's probably easier if you have an agent, I would just guess.
I would think so.
And he does not have an agent currently, and hasn't for these entire negotiations, just so you know.
Okay.
Lamar turned down...
So I think Lamar gets traded. Your take is?
Well, he turned down a 6-year extension worth like $250, and a little more than half of it was fully guaranteed.
Okay.
So
still a lot less than
they're very far from talks. He wants fully guaranteed. Lamar wants fully guaranteed. I don't know how this is going to go down with years and when contracts and stuff kicks in. It's going to be difficult to work. I feel like he stays. He's too good. Baltimore would be dumb if they just let him go, unless you can get 4 first-round picks and Goff from the Lions.
People are going to trade big money for big picks for Lamar.
Especially with the whole Watson nonsense.
So that was one of my ones as well.
Excellent.
I'm going to just talk about KC for a bit. Here's the deal with KC. They have a lot of cheap defenders because they drafted very, very well. So are they going to pay to keep their offensive line together? And this is a multiple KC question, but my question is for you. What's one position that they need in the offseason?
Well, let me just really quickly address one of my things I wrote down. Not a running back. Because Isaiah Pacheco's the man.
Yep.
He's like a 15 to 18 touch per game guy, I think. I think they'll make him into that.
Agreed.
Okay, so what position do they need? Not receiver. I
think they let Juju go.
100%.
Yep.
You should.
But I think they draft a wide receiver in the first round.
Yeah,
and they are going to be a huge problem, even more so than they were this year.
So you think they're like I'm trying to think who, like, I don't know. They have really young DBs.
They're a little like Frank Clark is a free agent. He's probably going to go. They've got Jones.
I think they still have Chris Jones for a couple of years.
Yeah, so they either go defensive end or wide receiver, and I think they go wide receiver.
I guess you're probably right because they have George Karlaftis, the guy from Purdue, the edge rusher, who had a great rookie year, right?
Yeah, and he didn't play a ton.
Did not play a ton. I don't know. Nick Bolton is a young guy. You're locked up at linebacker. He's the next middle linebacker.
Lots of young DBs that are pretty cheap.
Maybe it is wide receiver, but I let the record show that you can put anywhere, you can put anybody next to Mahomes, and I trust it. I totally do.
Well, with Tom Brady action.
MVS, I don't love Sky Moore. Tony, who had a touchdown in the Super Bowl, you said that at the beginning of the year, right? He was playing in the Giants and couldn't play with. They couldn't get any run.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
The Giants perhaps had the worst wide receiver group in the NFL.
Good job, Kenny Golladay, respectfully.
Yeah, nice job, Kenny.
Maybe it's receiver, but I don't know. The Chiefs will be okay.
Whew, yeah.
Bengals, Burrow, big money. The way this stuff works out, he can basically become the highest paid player ever. I feel like he might take a pay cut.
Whew, boy, he's a good dude. I mean, by all rumors and reports out there, he's a huge dude for the community. The problem is just like Wiggins makes a lot of money. Higgins.
T. Higgins, there's that whole contract stuff there too, which is different, which is maybe why it's so different.
The question for me is, does Burrow take a home field discount, home court discount?
I'm buying into Cincy.
I'm gonna say
I'm buying into Cincy
a little bit, yes, but it's gonna be, instead of $48 million a year, it's gonna be $46 million a year.
I just feel like it'll be something. They have a very good relationship, that front office and him, and he's an Ohio guy. I feel like it works out. It's not like the Lamar Ravens. relationship where like they're both kind of mad at each other.
Yep.
I think Burrow and Bengals are happy and they'll be friends and it'll work out. Here's a little prediction here. Wait, you go or you go? You go.
Is the prediction tied to Burrow?
No.
Okay.
No.
Derek Carr released. Where does he end up?
Okay, we can do a little bit on this. So I'll present you some teams. I'll give you options.
Okay. I have one first-round draft pick, but there's some solid second and third-round picks available.
Should we do a promptu draft of teams that he can go?
Yeah, why not?
Excellent. Okay.
I get first pick. I'm older. Jets.
Okay.
But snakes, so you get 2 and 3.
Excellent. I love snake drafts with 2 guys. So Derek Carr to the Jets, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, give me the Colts, just because it feels up their alley.
Solid.
And then give me the Commanders. So Carr to either the Commanders or the Colts with the Jets off the board.
Okay, then I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought you'd go. Now I'm going to go with the Saints.
Whoa. I get another pick.
I don't want the Saints.
Who do you think I'm going to go with? Maybe the Saints.
Okay, I'm done my draft then. I wrote down 5 teams. So.
You know what? The other thought I had was Green Bay because
okay,
whatever Aaron Rodgers.
We're not doing the Rodgers bit yet. That's coming at the end of this.
Okay.
Yeah, he's either going to the Colts or the Commanders, so it doesn't matter that you got the Saints because he's not going there.
Okay.
I already talked to him. The Jags. I think the Jags are going to run away with the division.
Jags are going to run away with the division.
Right?
Trevor Lawrence has suddenly become like poop under, who's that? The jerk coach, Urban Meyer. Now he's maybe a top 7 quarterback in the league.
First man, he's getting high stakes, Lawrence is the man. He's getting high stakes gambler, Calvin Ridley back, and Ridley's going to go off. Like, I'm buying into Jacksonville. I really, really am.
Ridley's got lots of money on over 89 receptions this year.
I'm bent on Jacksonville. Just like Ridley, I really like them. I think they're going to be really good. Okay, we'll do quick on the Rams here. I think the Rams are going to implode. I feel like it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, who's leaving? McVay or Donald? Who's going first?
They're both going to finish the season.
Yeah, I agree.
Donald is going to retire. He's going to announce his retirement just prior to the last game of the season. He might come back, but that's a whole separate deal.
How's he going to announce it? Like Instagram videos? Is he going to get leaked by Woj?
Not Twitter.
Or just through Twitter?
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you had like a scorching hot take there.
Nope.
Okay, I agree. Rams are going to implode.
No, actually, what's Kelly Stafford might interview him on Twitter?
That's not
Instagram Live. That's got to be it. Yeah.
Do you have anything else here? You got a couple more?
I've got a couple more.
Do you want to do Rodgers now?
Rodgers, sure. Why not? You're such a dolt. You offend virtually everybody. Even Green Bay fans are tired of you. Green Bay,
that's a fact.
They're not keeping it a secret that they're tired of his shenanigans. He's going to have to go somewhere because he has worn out his welcome in Green Bay. I don't think he wants to retire yet because he just can't handle not having the attention that he craves. And I think he ends up with the Raiders so he can get back with Adams.
I feel like he might stay in Green Bay.
Really?
Is that I don't know what the odds are right now. I feel like that might be a hot take.
Joseph wants him to stay in Green Bay.
I just think like we did this last year. We're gonna do it this year. We're probably gonna do it next year.
Oh my gosh, you're probably right.
I feel like he's gonna stay in Green Bay and just lose the North to maybe the Lions. Jokes aside, actually maybe to the Lions. So I'm
down with that actually.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna stay.
Because he's just going to have saggy diapers that leak and he's going to be pouty.
Yeah, we're going to play this game next year. Where's Rodgers going to go? We're going to play next year. I feel like he stays in Green Bay and just loses. That's my prediction.
The 4 quarterbacks that are likely to get drafted high, by what number pick will that 4th quarterback be chosen?
I haven't done enough draft stuff.
You haven't done enough mock draft?
No. We're getting Albert in the studio. We're getting Albert in the studio.
Get Al on the line.
Yeah, well, he's going to come in and teach us about the draft.
Okay.
But I really like Anthony Richardson, I think.
Do you?
Yeah, I think I do.
I've got, just so you know, the 4 quarterbacks drafted by number 8.
All 4, you think, by 8?
Yep.
Okay, so Lions better trade down then. That's a different conversation. I just want to say the Niners conversation would be really fun. But
oh no, Purdy! I read something.
That's why I said it would be fun. Purdy's he's going to be out for a while, and they've already said Jimmy G's not playing. And Brady, I think, is for real retired.
He's for real retired.
So it's going to be Trey Lance's job, which is fine. But it would have been nice to have the conversation if Brady didn't for real retire and Purdy was healthy and Garoppolo's still in the picture.
Oh yeah,
because we could have had
3-headed monster. Yeah.
We could have had 4 guys.
Oh my god, and Garoppolo. Oh, yeah,
right? Like it just, and then Tom Brady would have got mad because Jimmy G's in his locker room again.
Yeah.
But we're not going to have that conversation. I have one more. Do you have anything else?
you know what? We don't really need to talk about Jimmy G and Tampa because I think that's likely to happen. My question for you is, do the Lions make the playoffs?
Oh, I don't want to go there.
I know you don't, but if the fans want to know.
Okay, you go first.
Yes.
Division or wild card? Like, are they going to host?
I don't know that. The Lions will be 10-7 next year and will make the playoffs. I'm not ready to say whether it's hosting or not or that kind of stuff. Okay. 10-7.
I agree. It's probably 10-7. Maybe 9-8. They're not going to win 11 games. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say
still have too many holes on defense.
I'm not going to say they're going to win 11 games. I'm not going to.
Okay.
You're going to win 10 games or 9 games. They're not going to win 11 or 12. Okay, it's going to be 9 or 10 wins, which is
and
fine.
no way are they going to win 13.
There's no shot.
No shot.
We're not even going to talk about it.
Okay.
Like 14, we're not even allowed to say
Don't
that
even talk
number.
about that.
You're not even allowed to say that number. What's after 14?
Miami Dolphins 17-0. Those old guys get together and pop champagne.
Couple years. We're not going to have the Odell conversation because I don't really care about that.
I don't care.
Justin Jefferson one, real quickly before we move on. Here's a quote. This is Jefferson quote. This is real. It's not made up. I mean, I will be wherever I'm wanted. If they want me here, I'm here. That's not something that I can really control.
Has Minnesota disrespected him in some way?
No, but like he said, if they want me, I'll be here. But, man, that's not the quote that I want my star receiver to say.
Absolutely not. You want Amon-Ra to be your guy, and he's out there saying, hey, Ramsey, we need you in Detroit. And then Micah Parsons, bad take.
He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
Look up some. Now it made me do a deep dive on Mike Parsons and his antics, and he's got some in trouble with the law stuff. You probably don't know it.
I know I don't know that.
Do a deep dive. Just look up Micah Parsons Penn State locker room, and he did some stuff that was not good, and police should have gotten involved, but they didn't.
Like rapey stuff.
I'm not gonna talk. No, but just it's worth a Google search. It's worth a couple articles. Bad dude, kind of shady. Okay. I think Jefferson stays in Minnesota. I feel like Jefferson, they just go all in, and then their cap situation is totally screwed up, and you can't pay him $40 plus a year plus a decent quarterback, especially one that's overpaid like Kirk Cousins, that thug. So Minnesota,
their defense got old.
The defense got old. Like Harrison Smith, they're in a tough spot. Minnesota's in a very bad spot, and so is Green Bay, and so is Chicago. So I guess
Chicago's quarterback has to wear a hoodie because it's chilly and
windy.
I
guess that just leaves the Lions to win the North, but that's fine.
6-0 is a nice way to help your division.
Odell, we're not going to talk about. Talking about Odell, but I feel like he's probably going to go to the Giants again.
I think so.
Okay.
That's
NBA,
just for Evan.
NBA All-Star, go ahead.
So the NBA All-Star game is poop. It is literally awful, awful, awful. And I'll tell you why the All-Star game used to be very relevant. 2 reasons. 1, because you had players that were competitive. And 2, I need to give Anthony Posey some props here. He said, back when we were kids, we never got to see Hakeem Olajuwon. We never got to see Clyde the Glide. Because, there was, NBC Game of the Week, and that's kind of, hardly ever did you get to see them. So when you saw the All-Star game, it was really exciting to watch Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trying to play defense and things along those lines. That's the 80s. 90s, Jordan kept it competitive for a little bit. Kobe actually helped keep it competitive for a little while longer. Now these guys do not care. It's an embarrassment. The only good thing about the All-Star game is Max McClung.
Okay. It's Mac, by the way.
Mac.
That's going to be an issue for the next 10 years, eh?
For me or for...
For you. You're just going to call him Max.
Max.
Okay, we'll talk about... You sound a bit like an old head there. Back in my day.
It's true.
Okay.
No, but good take by Post.
I'll just... Real quick. Here's my prediction. Zion Williamson will be in the dunk contest next year. I'm very confident in that. I'm extremely confident.
That would liven things up. Do you think there's any way that under the current format it gets competitive again?
No. That's why I'm going to present you some options.
Okay.
I have 5 options that I wrote down in pen before I started recording because they kind of came to me and I wanted to write about it.
Okay.
Do I need to sell anybody on Zion dunking? Or not winning, but Zion participating? Are you sold on it or do you need a thesis?
No, I'm sold on it. You already told me about it.
Okay. If you guys want to hear my thesis, I'll present it. Basically, it's kind of the honest thing where it's people aren't talking about him as much as they should be, and he's just going to dunk to win. Whatever. Here's some options. Number 1, erase the All-Star game and keep the other stuff. Keep 3-point, keep dunk, keep skills.
Skills is awful. Dunk is pretty bad, but if you get Zion again and Mac McClung, then it'll be interesting.
Okay, here's another one. I'm not saying these are just options.
Okay.
A 3v3 tourney or a 1v1 tourney, something in that regard, like a round robin or something.
I like that.
1v1 won't happen. It should.
No, players won't. They don't want to lose.
It's the same reason you can't have guys get drafted last. That's why you have to have Larry Markkinen go before the starters get picked, so he doesn't get picked last. 1v1 tournament won't happen. A 3v3 thing I could totally see. 2v2 probably not.
Actually, I think I'd like 2-on-2.
Well, it's white man can't jump. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. King and Duke or whatever they're called.
Buck and Duck.
Buck and Duck. Okay. This is another one. You go back to East versus West.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you go back to East versus West, and the winner gets home court in the finals.
Yes, I like that one too.
You're into that.
I like that one.
Okay, so that I would like. I just don't think it'll happen. Because, like, what if someone tries and gets injured?
You know what happened with the MLB All-Star Game probably 25 years ago? They went into extra innings. They were running out of players, so they just decided to call it a tie. And MLB, to save face, had to say, okay, we're going to make the Major League Baseball All-Star Game count for something. So if you won that, then you got home field for the playoffs.
I didn't know the origin, but now I do. I would love if you went back to East versus West. I don't think people would complain if you changed this for the better, right? Even if you did a drastic thing. So I like that. Here's another one. You keep the draft, you keep the style, but you add some special incentive. You add something to make guys want to try. Because right now, I don't blame them. They don't want to try.
No.
I don't blame them at all. What does anybody have to gain from it? They get nothing. They don't care. You got to add something special, some honorary thing, some special cars. What a podcast proposed, something special. I don't know, something special. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but you add an incentive.
Okay.
Last one. You keep it as it is. You continue to lose viewers, and they're down 29% from last year. Viewership is down 29% from last year.
This is the lowest rated.
I think since like the lockout or something stupid like that. So those are some options. What's the winner for you?
Boy. I like a couple of the ones that you mentioned.
I think you like a tournament.
I like the 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 deal. I like that.
More than East versus West and winner gets home court?
Barely. Yes.
I want to see East versus West. I want to see that. I want to see like winner getting home court, because you're going to have like guys like Giannis just putting his shoulder.
Well, Giannis and Jokic were two of the guys who actually cared about the All-Star game. Giannis couldn't play in this one, but Jokic was urging people to compete. I didn't see it, but I read about it.
I was out. I wasn't able to watch the game, but as I came home, the game was on. And I think I sat down for about 30 seconds and I watched. In that time, I was able to watch 12 possessions, and it was awful. Like, it was, I don't know how, if you watched it.
Go ahead.
Kudos to you, because it was
I watched a bit of the first half, but no, I was multitasking.
Good job. It's a tough watch. Those are some options there. Anything else to add before we got a couple minutes? You can go ahead.
We had a couple minutes. So a couple people I want to shout out to. Uncle Dante is coming for a visit next weekend for, 3 or 4 days, and we should get him on the show as a guest.
Interesting.
Big sports guy. He played professional volleyball in Germany. That's a pretty good story. He climbed to base camp at Everest. Shout out Uncle Dante, and I think we should get him on the pod. Hopefully he's got a suit jacket.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sure. Yeah.
He's a taller dude. He's 6'4.5". So Uncle Dot, shout out to him. Again, shout out to Team Tal Nation, all the fans that support. Thank you very much, fans. We appreciate it. And the Stewart Boys. I don't think we've given a shout out to the Stewart Boys in a couple weeks.
No, Coach Rob, all the
love.
Chat
Coach Rob,
everyone
too.
that listens.
You know what? Coach Rob deserves a gift.
Okay, we'll get him a gift. Not a conversation to have on the podcast.
No.
Creed 3 coming out soon. Watch Creed 3.
Oh, and we're going to do an all-time Rocky ranking once Creed 3 gets out. Am I watching that with you and your boys? Did we talk about that?
You've been invited and you said maybe, which is kind of a sus answer.
Well, if it's like a Tuesday 9 p.m. showing, I'm not going to go.
It's going to be Thursday, opening night with the boys.
Oh, at midnight?
No, we're going to go to like an 8 p.m. or something.
Oh, I could probably do that.
Okay. All right. Creed 3, we'll let you guys know. Maybe we'll do like a stupid picture of you at the theater. That's probably going to be good content. Remind me to do that.
Do we get dressed up?
No. Just end the podcast.
Okay. Thanks, fans. We appreciate support. Peace out, everybody.